What's up, guys? Vice City Fan Collector back with another video. Today, I got some interesting caveats to share you with the Casablanca Lanai ceiling fans. The older generation, which is this is the first generation versus the second generation, which you'll see here. Alright, first point. The Lanai, we all know, came out in 1997 from Casablanca. And they use the skinny switch housing that uses the standard type, as you see here. And another caveat point I wanted to point out is that the older Lanais have another skirt on the blade arm. As you can see, there's an inner skirt right there. That's another thing I wanted to point out. So, kind of interesting to point out for this. And this one, unfortunately, has a bad motor, but I'm just using it for just to show you the caveats and differences between the older and newer Lanais. And also another thing, the older Lanais had 14-degree pitch blade arms themselves to it, with a 188 by 20 millimeter direct drive motor. Both Lanais use that. And for the Lanai, if you are wondering when they switched over, the second gen Lanai uses the same kind of motor, but they both use different switch housings. As you can see, this one uses standard. This one is detachable and is more flared out, as you can kind of see. And they took off, another caveat point is that they took off the second inner skirt of the blade arm. As you kind of see that this one, older one, has another skirt. This one doesn't have a second skirt. That's the difference, is another thing I should point out. And the switch housing, this one you can take off. And also another thing, they went over to the flared switch housing in 2002. That's when they went to the second gen Lanai, is another thing I wanted to point out. And they took off the second skirt as well in the blade arm. And they still had the 14-degree blade pitch for a little bit until 2004 is when they went up to 16-degree blade pitch. And another thing is that the capacitor values are different. This one has the 5 UF start capacitor. This one, when you get it new, is 4.5 microfarad to start. As you can tell, it weakened the performance on the second-gen Lanai a little bit comparing to the first one. So, yeah, that's another thing I wanted to include. Is that when you up the cap value on the second gen Lanai, it will just be just as powerful as the first, but depending on your blade pitch on your fan. If you actually put a 5 UF on it with the 14-degree blade pitch, they'll both be on par with each other. But if you do it with the one with the 16-degree blade pitch, which this one has the 16-degree blade pitch, it actually moves a little bit more air than this with the 5 UF capacitor up to 5 UF capacitor. So, yeah, that's another thing. And they kept doing this with the Lanai with the 4.5 microfarad and a 16-degree blade pitch blade arms to it until 2013 is when they stopped the Lanai completely and discontinued it. So, yeah, that's my little backstory on the Casablanca Lanai ceiling fans, on a little differences between the older versus newer one. So yeah, there you have it. Thank you for watching.